Hey, how are you doing? Today I want to show you what I got just last week from our shopping video from the Citygate outlet in Hong Kong. We did get something. We got one thing. We got some Christian Louboutin heels. It was in the video that I was trying, so if you want to guess, you can pause and guess what I got. And let me show you. I will also talk about how I take care of my heels, especially Christian Louboutins, and just a little bit of maintenance as well at the end of the video. So you want to keep watching after the unboxing and the story. That's what you're gonna find. Okay, are we ready? Ta-da! So these are it. They look like this. I love the red bottoms, and it is totally true. I am a brand addict, and yes, the reason I got these are because they're Christian Louboutins. I could not pass up such an amazing deal. These are like this beautiful monofilament mesh, and I do have a massive story, a really good story and a bad story, so let me get into that. So first, the price of this. It is originally 9,400 Hong Kong dollars, which is about like 1,500 USD. And I got them for 90% off. 90. So I paid about 150 USD for these. How could I pass these up? Like literally $150. Like you could not even get all those shoes sometimes for $150, and I got Christian Louboutin. So I love myself a deal, like I've said so many times before, and I will help you find all the deals and myself, and I will always share them with you. So but the bad negative thing is that actually these shoes are just half a size too small. So I'm usually a 36, and that's my true to size, but I do have shoes that I wear 35.5, as well as shoes up to 37, just depending on the brand. And I definitely needed a true to size for this one. Like I did need a 36, but they only had one left in a 35.5, and I just made it work. So I'll show you everything. So the thing that makes this even tighter, I normally can wear a 35.5 for loops, but these are really tight in the front, like they're very pointy. And then they have that zipper. So if it was like an open back, you kind of let it slide. So one way that I can actually wear this and still being semi-comfortable, despite it being Louboutins, is not zipping up the zipper in the back. And so you'll see like my ankle right in the back there. So when I wear it like this, it actually is comfortable, and I can zip it up. But when I do zip it up, my toes just get a little bit too squished right in the front. I did tell myself a while back that I would never buy shoes that aren't my size, because I used to always do that. If I find something on sale, I would just buy something even half a size too small or half a size too big. Like I would do that, and I would end up never wearing it. So I told myself I wouldn't do that anymore, and then I saw these and I just couldn't help myself because they're such a good deal. So I'm trying to stretch them out a little bit, but it is completely useless. So if you ever buy, so this is like not a good buy in the sense that it's too small, and this is very, very hard to stretch out. So if anything, the shoes, if you want to ever buy something too small, look at what kind of shoe, like if I was my friend, I would be like, girl, don't buy this. It is going to be too small. You can't stretch it out. But I have no brain. So patent leather, which is this, is the hardest, one of the hardest materials to stretch out, as well as synthetic. So never buy synthetic PU thinking it could stretch. It will never stretch. As well as patent leather is super hard. It's basically leather that they put an extra coating on top, a plastic coating on top to kind of hold the leather together. So won't, like very, very little, like half a millimeter, but that's what I want. And the other thing that's gonna make this super, super hard to even have any give is the material on that mesh is monofilament. So it is extruded plastic is what monofilament is, and it's not stretchable at all. It's not a fabric mesh, it's actually monofilament. So it's just extruded plastic. So it is very hard to stretch, but again, I said I can wear these if I don't zip these up. So this was my beautiful buy for that day. And let me see. Okay, so I do my research, and I know that they're sales for a reason, right? So especially in Hong Kong, like people don't wear heels very often because it's a very walking city. So you wouldn't just wear heels for no reason unless it was like a wedding or some kind of fancy event. So heels in general, I feel they go on sale a little bit more, just because the type of city it is, and most people don't drive. As well as that, this is the last pair, so you usually would find really good sales if they're the last pair. If you have, unfortunately, either a really small shoe size, which I just kind of try to cram my big feet into the Cinderella shoes, or if you have larger feet, you will always find the best deals. If you're like 37, 38, it's kind of harder for you to find super good deals, unfortunately, just because they're very common sizes. And the other thing is, this is from 2017. So I did look it up, and this is, I believe, it's from a spring summer 2017 collection. I do still think this is very classy. Definitely not with the outfit I'm wearing right now, but I would wear this with more of like that tailored suit look, or like a boyish, like a very, yeah, like a tailored suit look, a casual suit, oversized blazer, cropped dress pants, that kind of thing, or cigarette pants. That's what I would wear these with. So it's a very specific look, but I do love them, and I love having a huge variety in my closet. So that's how, and definitely outlets for sure. Like you just like can go to specific outlets around your town or when you travel, and usually you'll find like that one-off gem, which is what I found here for myself. But there's a couple of websites that's really good. One that I really like is based in the States, I think in New York, and it was called Century 21. And I remember I did score a pair of Louboutins that I now no longer have, but I did score like a bright metallic green Louboutin for like $160 or $200. And I was thinking about like dyeing them or like using that as a DIY project to like bedazzle them or something. But for like $200 lubes, I was like, what the heck? And I got my true to size just because it was a very ugly color. But you can go to like dye specialists and like re-dye them. So there's always like, I personally am a DIYer. Like I'm in design. I just like love having a variety of fashion, and I will like mend things myself, so that's why I'm okay with that. So if you are okay with that, that's how you would find good deals too. So the uglier, the brighter colors, or older styles, or smaller sizes or larger sizes, you're probably more in luck. And normally back in the day, and how did I take care of my Louboutins? Way back when I first started buying designer shoes, like many years ago, I used to get all my high heels sold right at the bottom here. I would leave the tip because they didn't have it this time because I guess this was a sale shoe. But normally for regular price Louboutins, which I don't care, they would give you extra heel tips here. So if it would wear down, you would replace it. Honestly, I've almost never worn down most of my shoes, only like a couple of pairs, just because I circulate them a lot. But I always used to sole this part just so that, you know, that it's more to protect the edges so that the entire sole won't wear down. Sometimes if you don't sole the bottom, the part, especially the way you walk, you might wear down the tip here or the side. So if you are investing into your designer shoes, or it was a regular price item, I would highly recommend to sole them. I do have a cobbler that I go to in Vancouver. If you are there, I can let you know what it is. and they do their soles red for Louboutin specifically, so I love that. Like, it's not going to be some ugly black or beige, so they actually have a sole covering that's red purposely to match back Louboutins. So that's what I would do. That's what I did. I do have a couple of Louboutins that I've sold with that red rubber underneath, so it gives a little bit more traction as well as just protecting the shoe overall. I'm gonna be honest and say that I don't usually do that anymore. Sewing the shoes isn't so expensive. I do go to a nicer place, so I think it was about $35 to do one pair. But you can go to like cheaper places that are like 10, 20 bucks, but I don't recommend to go to that for designer shoes. Obviously you wanna go to the best for designer shoes. But now, because I have such a huge collection of shoes, I honestly don't wear them down that fast, so I don't bother anymore. But I do recommend that. I think it's great, like to sew all. I used to sew all my designer shoes when I started out my collection. And one thing I do, which I know not everyone does, you know, not everyone has a storage space, but I personally, every time I finish wearing my shoes and I feel like I'm not gonna wear them for another week or two, I always clean them first, including the bottom. So I just get like for the bottom, I use like a different, honestly, I use like some kind of towel that I already use to clean the floor or the walls or dusting. And I use that, I wet it a little bit and I just kind of rub off all the grime off the shoes before storing them away. And then depending how good I feel about myself that day, I would either get some mink oil or shoe polish, and I'll polish off any scratches or any apparent scratches. I'll always do that because you don't want to store grime on your shoes for long periods of time. You never know how it'll like degrade, and over time you still want your shoe condition to be really, really good. So I always clean it off properly from the top to the bottom, and even, gonna be gross, but like right on the bottom, your feet over time when you wear it, it gets hot and there's like really gross feet stuff that like get collected on the bottom of your shoe. So I always make sure I clean everything inside and out, just lightly, but I do it. And then I always stuff it back. And if your shoe doesn't come with stuffing, this is literally like tissue paper. I swear this is like tissue in this case. But I always stuff it back. You want the shoe to keep its shape, depending on what kind of shoe it is, but I normally just always stuff it no matter what shoe it is. So I always stuff the top and the bottom. This one, it came with this, and normally they always come with something. I store it back, and I personally, for my designer shoes, most of them, I do store it back in the box if I do have them. But if I don't have them, then I'll store it in the dust bag. Actually, this, because it was a sale shoe, it didn't come with a Louboutin dust bag. And if that's also a tip, so if you ever buy like any kind of sale shoe and it doesn't come with a dust bag, because sometimes they won't, because there'll be like a sale shoe that's been a few years and they just lose it somehow or someone takes it, always ask them like, oh, do you have an extra dust bag? And so I just like ask them like, can you give me another dust bag? And then they just grab like a different one for me. But it's always so good to have any dust bag. It's never store your bag in plastic. So despite what kind of shoe it is, like a high street shoe or a designer shoe, just never store them in plastic. Always store them in like a cotton bag, because it's breathable. The plastics aren't breathable. So I always would store it like this, and then if I'm really up to it, I'll store it in the dust bag and in the box. But if it doesn't come in the box, I'll just store it in the dust bag like this. So that is everything I had. I will show you a little bit of clips of how it looks. I would love to style it for you, but maybe when I'm back home, I have such a limited closet over here. I literally cannot show you everything, but I am so excited to show you this. And I do love it, and I can't wait to style it for some kind of like sexy date night. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe and like, and I do have another unboxing video coming up, so I'll see you there. Bye.